Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we're going to put a spotlight on a Christian men's organization. It's been around for 95 years. We'll be talking to two of their local leaders next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, it says in the Bible to love thy neighbor, but if you look at the business world, it's kind of do unto others before they do it to you. Monday through Friday is just a difficult time in the dog-eat-dog business world, but two people who are making a profound difference here in Dallas-Fort Worth are in the studio right now, Noel Sinaga and Phil Carlson, and they're both with an organization called Christian Businessmen's Connection. So, guys, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
And this group has been around for 95 years? That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Started in Chicago during the Great Depression, and it was obviously a crisis time in the business world in America. And so a group of businessmen came together to do something about it, really share their own testimonies of faith and create connecting points for other businessmen to hear those stories and also be given an opportunity to respond to the gospel.
And there's opportunities to talk and get real that you don't get from a church, do you?
That's right.
Noel, do you want to speak to why you decided to join?
So my story started indirectly as I was growing up. It was actually my father was part of CBMC in Indonesia. So not only we started 95 years ago here in the United States, but now we've reached over, I think, 90 countries across the globe. So yeah, the impact that I experienced myself and the reason why I joined before is because I was at a point in my life in 2018, I believe, that I needed to be able to have friends that are both godly and practicing godly business practices. They could not find the right kind of community. And so out of desperation, I reached out over email. And out of nowhere, I met a gentleman named Stan Bauer. He was the area director at that time, and ever since then, just took me under his wing, discipled me, and we grew one man at a time.
Yeah, and you have a profound Stan Bauer story as well. Would you share that?
Sure, yeah. I met him through really reaching back out to a CBMC group. I first walked into a CBMC meeting in Dallas-Fort Worth back in 2008, and at that time it seemed sort of like a retirees Bible study group. What I didn't realize is that CBMC was so much more. And Stan, 9 years later, had arrived, and I met him 2 years after that in 2019. And Stan is this massive personality, larger than life. He says he can fill a room, and that's not a lie. And in the process of meeting him, getting to know him, he really became a spiritual father to me. At 37 years old, I really met a man who would start to fill in those holes and those gaps that were very present in my life. And I was very much interested in really how to reach the world for Christ. I was working on a doctorate at the time, researching the Moravian missions movement, which is the first major Protestant missions movement. And as I was researching that, and then I was getting to know Stan and seeing what he was doing with CBMC in Dallas-Fort Worth, I realized I don't need to be reading about what happened 300 years ago. He's doing it. And so I need to learn from him. And my own life was being impacted. My marriage, my wife was being impacted. And in the process, it just became clear. We were running a 501c3 at the time. I was working at SMU, and I realized it's time to leave the job, shut down the 501c3, and go full throttle, working with Stan and CBMC to really reach the business world in Dallas-Fort Worth for Christ.
And I found a overview video. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
Now more than ever, there are marketplace men, executives, business owners, and leaders, and professionals who are finding themselves floundering in their faith, bearing tremendous workplace and family burdens, making difficult decisions without a system of support. CBMC has the unmatched ability to meet these urgent needs. With more than 90 years of service to the community, no other organization is as well positioned to connect and equip business and professional men. Our offerings of programs and tools give them access to peer advisory groups and life-on-life discipleship tools so that they can become more like the men God designed them to be. Programs like Connect 3. A Connect 3 team consists of 8 to 12 men who gather together on a weekly basis for 1 hour in a structured format consisting of fellowship, missional prayer, and engaging biblical study. Men get the chance to pray and support one another. Through these vital Connect 3 teams, a framework is provided for both one-on-one discipleship and small group relationships that impact lives. For men wanting to go deeper, CBMC offers young professionals. This peer group is designed for men under the age of 40 who want to accelerate their professional, personal, and most importantly, their spiritual lives. Young professional teams meet monthly in closed meetings for 3 hours where seasoned business leaders give godly counsel and members share in impactful discussion, prayer, and fellowship. Another peer advisory group is Trusted Advisor Forums, designed for senior business executives who want to excel their business, apply biblical principles, and become part of a community of like-minded leaders in their local area. In a setting of 8 to 12 participants, members meet monthly for in-depth peer-to-peer counsel. Trusted Advisor Forums are distinct in that leaders not only learn how to build a business of excellence, but also how to live as a marketplace ambassador. CBMC offers world-class tools to help men go deeper in their spiritual lives, like Operation Timothy, which is a time-tested, one-on-one relational discipleship tool. This transformational journey will develop leaders who are intentional about integrating their work and their faith. There are men in the marketplace who have a great need. Perhaps God is calling you to be the one who helps guide these men to a deeper, richer, more meaningful life. We at CBMC invite you to join us in impacting the lives of men in the marketplace. Visit connect.cbmc.com/launch.
I'm blown away. You guys do so many different things. So Noel, back to you. What's the greatest value you're getting these days from CBMC?
For me personally, the one-on-one intimate relationship with another godly man that impacted my life as a father, as a banker, and also the community of men. We are not afraid to hold each other accountable and grow together. And as you know, we saw earlier, Operation Timothy, there are tools. Operation Timothy, Trusted Advisor Forum, Young Professional. These are tools that are being used and deployed in order for us to be able to create effective disciple and disciple maker. Because at the end of the day, that is the goal of it, right? To be able to share the good news and also to edify those who already received the good news. And that's what I think, for me personally, the biggest impact is that being reminded always of the gospel, being around manly, godly men that stand up for the truth and hold me accountable.
And Phil, I have to imagine that there are countless opportunities to do business. You were telling me before the show that jobs have been created through the organization.
Yeah, we've seen guys who have an area of expertise connect with an entrepreneur who's actually trying to do something in that world. In fact, Noel's experienced that personally. And so they end up forming a business partnership together. We've seen multiple situations of one man's looking for a job, another man's looking for good employees, make that connection. So there's a concept that one economist called the middleman minority group, and it's basically a people who don't fit within a culture, and so they're kind of on their own. They don't fit in the language, and they have to figure out a way to make it work. Well, I believe that's the way the church is supposed to operate. We're not of the world, but we live in the world. And so instead of the notorious standard that sadly is out there of, oh, I see a Jesus fish on this company's website, I actually don't want to do business with them because I'm probably going to be taken. Instead, we want to live the opposite of that. That means there should be a higher degree of integrity, the fact that we're actually open about our faith. We're not trying to take people, we're actually trying to sacrificially love. And through that, you end up seeing far more powerful things happening in business because deep work is going on in the heart of a man. So the secret sins, the secret of his life, about the things he doesn't want anyone else to know, well, he actually is able to talk to another man about that and get that accountability, but also that freedom that comes with that. So as he's maturing in Christ, as he's actually growing in spiritual maturity, he's actually becoming not just a better husband and father and churchman, he's becoming a better businessman as well. It's a holistic approach.
We've got some more video from your chapter, and there's a big event that you hold every year, the Confluence. Is that right?
Yeah.
Why don't you narrate this for us? What happens at the Confluence?
So with the Confluence, what we've done is we've actually brought in some kind of a business leader or thought leader and have him come in, and then this becomes something of a networking opportunity. But really, it's also an opportunity to hear some profound things that you might not have heard anywhere else before, whether it's someone like Briggs Sorber, who helped to actually found Two Men in a Truck, or Terry Looper, who's actually the founder of Texon LP. So you've got guys from these major industries who've had a huge impact in that industry, but God has had a huge impact in their lives. And so you hear how both actually come together. And so those men end up doing business together who come to an event like this, but they also have their lives impacted, find out more about CBMC, and get involved.
Okay, guys, we only have about 2 minutes left, so let's do a call to action. If somebody's watching this right now, a Christian man here in the DFW area who wants to get involved, what happens?
Yeah, for sure. Well, reach out to me, reach out to Noel. Now, we're actually on social media. You can find CDMC Dallas-Fort Worth on Facebook, on LinkedIn. We have a website, which is dallas.cbmc.com. And so you can just go to that website. You can actually fill in the information form, and someone will reach out to you. Typically, within about 24 to 48 business hours, I will get that in my inbox, and I will reach out. And so we're happy to connect you with other like-minded businessmen or businessmen who are ready to help you find your next steps.
Noel, let's give you the final word. Talk to that man out there who's struggling right now, and why would he want to get involved?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, my brothers, if you are out there, you're in need of a community, you're in need of brothers who are like-minded, who are pursuing God, pursuing righteousness, and excelling in their businesses, reach out to us. We're here for you. We want to be able to connect with you. We want to be able to love on you and be able to have a deeper relationship with you. You're not alone. We're here for you.
Outstanding. Great way to leave this broadcast. We're also going to end with the website. It's there on the screen, dallas.cbmc.com. Guys, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.
Right.